This week's patch came with update 8.0.5. It is essentially the mid-episode patch I would consider, and it comes with quite a lot, so I'm just going to see if I can breeze straight through this. One of the general changes they made was the increase to weighting for a variety of Crucible maps. So all of these maps listed here are more likely, and all of these maps listed here are less likely. Everything else is basically just normal. They also updated Snake Draft for better fireteam finding, and updated the quitter penalties to be more lenient for players who rarely quit or disconnected. In competitive, they made a bunch of changes that is in regards to, variety of stuff. I'm just going to breeze through all the Crucible stuff because I don't much care for it. And then changes for Trials and Iron Banner. Again, if anyone cares, you can, of course, view it if you so wish. But into some of the more important stuff. For Salvation's Edge, fixed an issue where extra resonance pickups would not be removed after the completion of some activities. Fixed an issue where players who died in traversal areas could respawn in locations that made it difficult to return to the intended path. Fixed an issue where the lore book Triumph was missing individual steps, descriptions, and icons. Fixed an issue in the Verity encounter where extra ghost pickups could be unintentionally be created, causing difficulties in determining the correct ghost pickup. Fixed an issue where an enrage warning was missing from the Herald of Finality boss encounter. Fixed an issue where the raid armor mods had duplicate text in the descriptions, and fixed an issue where objective progress text was missing from multiple triumphs. Into seasonal activities for Breek's executable, adjusted tuning with the laser walls during the Minotaur boss encounter, increased delay time on the wall, and reduced damage to the laser wall by 50%. Thank you, that seemed overbearing as hell. And also fixed the issue where players could get out of bounds during the Minotaur boss encounter. For Onslaught, new Onslaught attunement options are available at Zavala. Players can select a single Brave Arsenal weapon to attune to, increasing the drop chance by 60% in post-final shape Onslaught. For Excision, fixed an issue where selecting the narrative version of Excision did not play the end dialogue in the cinematics after completion. Dual Destiny added a weekly challenge, Dual Destiny, that rewards an exotic class item at powerful tier 1 rate upon completion. Liminality, fixed an issue where waterfalls could lose their sound if players returned to them after already passing through. For the Vanguard Ops, fixed an issue where champions appeared in Battlegrounds launched from the Vanguard Ops playlist. That made it spicy. Some updates to the UI and Fireteam Finder. Added all as a search option to activity selection. Added a toast for all menus after leaders summon via Fireteam Finder. Added an alert when a player is kicked from the fireteam. Added a notification to text chat when friends come online. Added a setting to toggle on and off in the notification tab when coming online. I'm not gonna lie, I think I noticed this as somebody immediately messaged me as soon as I got online today. Added more accurate location information when viewing players in the roster. Fixed an issue that would allow a player, that could allow an unavailable activity to be selected using Fireteam Finder. Fixed an issue where inviting players to Fireteam Finder lobby did not take into account the Fireteam invite privacy settings. Fixed an issue where Empire Hunt activities were missing from the create and search. Fixed an issue where system messages could fill up text chat and make messages vertical. That's always annoying. Fixed an issue where player names were not showing in the roster tooltip. Fixed an issue where invite modal did not close after rejecting a Fireteam Finder invite. And fixed an issue where the Bungie friends list did not refresh immediately upon login. I believe that was mostly for anybody crossplay on different platforms for this. For Quest, fixed an issue where new light quest had a blank image when featured on featured quest view. For gameplay and investment in abilities, reduced the amount of super energy gained by the rocket side items per damage event by 20%. I guess these were farming a lot of super energy. Fixed an issue where strand fragments incorrectly referred locked until raid world first achieve purchase requirement. Reduce the distance that swarm grenades, submunition projectiles can travel once they track a target. I'm assuming these are the Crucible changes. For Titan, increased hammer assault damage against bosses and mini-bosses by 25%. Increased Twilight Arsenal damage against bosses and mini-bosses by 20%. Fixed an issue where Twilight Arsenal axes would unintentionally track to combatants below the player during cast. Thank you. Fixed an issue where the detonation produced by the Unbreakable aspect was being scaled without absorbing damage while Thermite grenade was equipped. Interesting. I wonder if that's how I one-shotted a champion by accident. Hunter, reduced the aim assist strength on threat inspected by 50% versus players and added a short delay before the aim assist takes effect. Reduced threat inspector detonation damage against players from 100 at maximum to 60 at maximum, and against, threat inspector detonation damage from 60 at minimum to 30. Okay, so all around damage nerf. Fixed an issue where kills with Gunpowder Gamble would not activate Facet of Mending. Fixed an issue where Gunpowder Gamble ready buff notification would remain visible after swapping off of the Gunpowder Gamble aspect. For Warlock, fixed an issue where Thread Links did not roost onto Prismatic Warlocks with Weaver's Call and Phoenix Dive equipped. and fixed an issue where Penumbral Blast would not auto-shatter enemies, it froze while Winter's Guile was equipped on Prismatic Warlock. For some changes for the exotic armors, for hunters, Radiant Dance Machines, fixed an issue where players could repeatedly activate the Ascension aspect when they had Radiant Dance Machines equipped. I think I noticed that a few times. Atheris's Embrace, fixed an issue where Atheris Embrace Exotic could have its damage bonus extended by shooting allied targets. Interesting. For Titans, the Arbor Warden, fixed an issue that caused Arbor Warden to block players from gaining Transcendency energy through Prismatic Rifts. Lion Rampants, fixed an issue where you can aim down sight while Lion Rampant's enhanced lift was active without disrupting the lift. And for Hazardous Propulsion, fixed an issue where Hazardous Propulsion was not boosting the splash damage of Quicksilver's micro rockets. Interesting. Warlocks, your getaway artist, no longer grants grenade energy on Arc Soul hit when the player has Devour. Ow. I guess Arc Soul nerf. Solipsism, fixed an issue where Vortex Grenades were granting more energy back than intended with the Spirit of Osmiomancy perk. Fixed an issue where super damage bonus from Spirit of the Star Eater was being applied to ignitions caused by Song of Flame. Interesting. For armor mods, updated the Exotic Artifice upgrade icon to be more distinct from the Empty Artifice mod socket. Fixed an issue that allowed swapping between regular armor mods and reserve mods to enable higher ammo count than the original maximum. This was never intended functionality to offset buffing ammo-related aspects. Reserve ammunition for all weapons has been increased by up to 15%, with weapons with low reserve up getting a large buff and reduce the cost of reserve mods by 1, and fixed an issue where special and heavy ammo finder mods would not provide additional benefits when equipping a third copy. For weapon archetypes, some tuning. Aggressive Frame Scouts get a PvE damage buff of 30%. Dead Man's Shield is effective by this. Heavy Burst Pulse Rifles. Fixed an issue with these weapons were displaying their RPM as 395 instead of 300. This does not affect the weapon's actual round per minute, it is just visual. Snipers have reduced flinch by 50%. Glaives increased melee damage by 20% in PvE. For shotguns, lightweights. Fixed an issue where lightweight shotguns were not receiving the lightweight intrinsic buff to movement speed and mobility. Special ammo sidearms for the rocket frame corrected an issue that was allowing them to progress ammo finder mods as if they were primary weapons. Interesting. For PvP tuning, bows, precision damage, 84.6 to 90, crit hit from 126.9 to 130, so I guess a slight buff for bows. Specifically for exotic weapons, duality, fixed an issue where the duality shotgun was not using the slug shotgun ADS damage fall-off scalar value of 1.2 times. Conditional finality, reduced base handling by 15%, can no longer freeze players who are in Well of Radiance, that's Crucible-based focus. Bastion, corrected an issue where Bastion was not spawning with ammo in the Crucible. Ariana's Vow, increased damage versus Barrier Champion shields by 67%. Monte Carlo, fixed an issue that allowed Monte Carlo's bayonet damage to persist when carrying an object. Ergo Sum, fixed an issue where Ergo and Sum Sacred Flame trait effects can be counted as primary damage. And Wishkeeper, fixed an issue where some versions of the exotic bow had unintentional access to the combat grip. These have been updated to heavy grip. For perks specifically, Recombination, corrected an issue where the perk would sometimes deactivate before dealing the extra damage. Threat Remover, increases buff duration from 5 to 7 seconds, reduced pellets to proc from 12 to 11, and added a handling scaler. Golden Tricorn, fixed an issue where Golden Tricorn was activated on ability kills that did not match the weapon's damage type. And Onslaught, fixed an issue where Enhanced Onslaught could activate on grenade kills. For specifically weapon mods, remove the range penalty from Adept Counterbalance, remove the handling penalty from Adept Mag, and reduce the stability penalty from Adept Targeting mods, and reduce the aim assist stat from 10 to 7. So these are removing the negatives on most Adept mods. Some general changes. Weapons granted during the Pantheon raid event that equipped non-functional masterworks will be corrected to a working masterwork for that weapon archetype, or enhanced intrinsic if the weapon had been enhanced sense. Fixed an issue where the circular logic machine gun will only drop with feeding frenzy in the left trait column. Interesting. Fixed an issue where gunpowder gambit kills did not activate adrenaline junkie. Fixed an issue that was causing special ammo weapons to deal more damage to frozen targets than intended, and rocket sidearms to deal less. I think I noticed that before. Fixed an issue where older curated rolls of Repost received the weapon trait Golden Tricorn. These instances are updated to Desperate Measures. If the weapon was enhanced to Tier 3 Masterwork, it will be updated to Enhanced Desperate Measures. Fixed an issue where older curated rolls of Rose received both Outlaw and Pulse Monitor. These perks were not available on this weapon and have been replaced with Rapid Hit and Eye of the Storm, respectively. If the weapon was enhanced, they have been updated to the enhanced versions. Fixed an issue where a curated version of a Cosmic Grenade Launcher receives Snatched on an opening shot at the release of the final shape. This curated roll has been updated to Field Prep and Wellspring. Fixed an issue where old versions of Blasphemer had unintentional access to High Cal. The instances have been updated to Accurized. Fixed an issue where Season of the Forge issued Nightshade had unintentionally access to Armor Piercing Round. These instances updated to Tac Mag. For Root of Nightmare's Adept Weapons, hang on, let me say this. Fixed a rare issue where some Root of Nightmare Adept weapons updated during the crafting had enhanced traits ahead of schedule in the weapon enhancement progression. In these rare cases, enhanced traits have been swapped to the base trait to facilitate enhancing the weapon properly. No free enhance. Fixed several reprised weapons with incorrect lore tabs, aka Eye of Soul, Astral Horizon, the Summoner, Loaded Question, Sleepless, Twilight Oat, and the Messenger. I did say Oat. Fixed, added a speed limit to the acceleration applied to the player when rocket jumping with the mountaintop. For Pathfinder, reduce kill requirements in PvE or PvP for grenade and melee kill objectives, and remove single life requirement for melee and grenade kill objectives. Remove subclass verb requirements from elemental ability kill objectives. Now reward bonus progress on specific subclass verb interactions, aka you don't need to get just Jolt. Fixed an issue where the Bungie Foundation Disciple Shell listed as an incorrect source in the collections. And more general last changes, fixed an issue where Tessellation was incorrectly being granted to players without access to Final Shape Annual Pass Edition. The weapon will not be removed from anyone who already has it, however. Fixed an issue where the certain Legacy Iron Banner ornament items were missing a description, and adjusted chances for acquiring exotic class items from chests to be more generous based on overthrow. So increased progression on escalation chest chances and root progression on world chest chances. Okay, so that is worse than I thought. I thought they were just going to be incentivizing the base, but now they're also saying don't go for these. Yeah, that's bad move there, Bungie. Fixed issue where Zura's Strange Favor buff was not available to be redeemed for all characters on the second account when it was unlocked for the week. So, that is the patch notes, essentially the mid-episode changes happening in Bungie. Not gonna lie, some of these were unexpected, like that change to, that exotic armor change to Getaway Artists. Not gonna lie, Getaway Artists were super fun, and I didn't feel like they were broken, at least in PvE. That change to them feels like it's a hammer or fun please. And again, I knew about this part of the change to exotic class items and overthrow, but I didn't know about this one. It seemed like they left that out until here, which this seems even double bad. Because initially, it sounded great that, sure, overthrow is more worth it, but you can still do the other. Now, it's basically saying, do overthrow, the others will just be a shitty source. That's a bit of a bad move, in my opinion, there, Bungie. And on top of the already bad moves that you have been plagued with as of late. So, I think they're saying, if you're not going to do the mission, do overthrow, and if you're not going to do that, it is going to be a long time hunting those chests, which seemed like more work anyways. It was just for the people of us that were solo and hated overthrow as of late. But with that, that has been update 8.0.5. My name is TheMadScorpyon, and I will see you in the next video.